I live by myself. I rented a flat around my university. Yes.
Now in this first part, I'd like to ask you some questions about yourself. So let's talk about where you live. Do you live in a house or in an apartment?
I live in the dorm in my university with my three classmates.
No, I'm neither. Actually, I live in the dormitory, just in my school campus.
Well, I live in an apartment with my family, my mom and dad. This is a very lovely community I live.
I live in a house. To be fact, it is like an apartment. There is about four. I live in the ground floor and the second floor, and my neighbors live in the third floor and the fourth floor. I live with my parents, my grandparents. I don't have a sister or brother, and I don't bring up a dog or a cat.
I live in an apartment. As I'm a college student now, so I rent apartments with my friends. Yes, there is a living room and 2 bedrooms, and we share the kitchen. So that's it.
I live in an apartment now because I come from China but not Taiwan. I came to Taiwan for the university.
Well, actually I live in a 3-floor villa with my parents, and it's a big house, really more spacious, and we moved there approximately 2 years. But I think it's a little bit inconvenient since because it's new developed and the traffic system's undeveloped now. So we moved to go out to drive our private car.
I live in a house now because my home is in the village, so most of people live in their home.
Where live? I live in Quanzhou City, Fujian Province, in China, and I live in.
Do you live in a house or in an apartment?
I live in an apartment.
Okay, here is a short part 1 video on the topic, the part 1 topic of do you live in a house or an apartment? Let's have a listen to sample 1.
Now in this first part, I'd like to ask you some questions about yourself. So let's talk about where you live. Do you live in a house or in an apartment?
I live by myself. I rented a flat.
I just want to say something about the usage of the word flat. Don't feel you need to use flat. If you prefer saying apartment, that's fine. It really doesn't make a difference.
Around my university. Yes.
Not sure why you ended with a yes. It's kind of a weird way to answer a question. There's not a yes/no question. Sample 2.
I live in the dorm in my university.
I live in the dorm. Maybe there's only one dorm. That's why she says the dorm. In my university, I would say at my university, but okay, in is not terrible.
With my three classmates.
No, hang on a second. If you share a dorm with people, they're not your well, I guess they are your classmates if you go to the same university. But I mean, if you share a living space with someone, they are your roommates. not your classmates. But maybe they are classmates. But there is a difference between classmates and roommates. Sample 3.
No, I'm neither. Actually, I live in the dormitory, just in my school campus.
Ooh, now for campus, we definitely have to say on. On my school campus. Campus. Alright, here's sample 4.
Well, I live in an apartment with my
I live in an apartment. An apartment.
family, my mom and dad.
Mom.
This is a very lovely community I live.
I live in. It's a very lovely community I live in. Lots of mistakes, even in such a basic response. Here's sample 5.
I live in a house. To be fact.
Ooh, to be fact. I think what she's trying to say is in fact, not to be fact. In fact.
To be fact. In fact, it is like apartment.
I'm sure she tried to say apartment, but it really came out sounding like pregnant. What is going on here? I live in a house. It's like an apartment. Well, no, those two things are very different. A house is for one family to live in, a building for one family to live in, whereas an apartment is a building shared by lots of families or lots of people living together. So it can't be a house like an apartment.
There is about 4. I live in the ground floor.
Maybe she wanted to say there are 4 floors, but she abandoned this idea. She switched from talking about the 4 to talking about the ground floor, and she said in, but the preposition for floor is on, so I live on the ground floor. It would have been better if she'd said there are 4 floors and I live on the ground floor.
And the second floor. And my neighbors live in the 3rd floor and the 4th floor.
Okay, now it's getting confusing. Why are the neighbors living with you? If they live with you, they are not neighbors. So, confusing. What's more confusing is she went from 3rd to 1st to 4th. A lot of confusion here.
The 4th floor. I live with my parents, my grandparents. I don't have a sister or brother.
Not sure why she feels the urge to say this. The question was just, do you live in a house or an apartment? Nothing about brothers or sisters or dogs.
I don't bring up a dog or a cat.
Now, you don't need to talk about pets if the question isn't asking about pets. Alright, here's sample 6.
I live in an apartment.
Again, it must be an apartment.
As I'm a college student now, so I rent a...
Okay. If you say as, you don't need to say so. So what he should have said is, as I'm a college student now, I rent, well, it should be an apartment. So drop the so, and this should be an apartment.
Apartments with my friends. Yes.
And if it's not a yes/no question, why say yes?
There is a living room and 2 bedrooms, and we share the kitchen.
Okay, if you want to talk about the rooms, that's okay. That's related to the question. Not sure why you said shared. It should be share.
And we share the kitchen.
Maybe you did say share, not shared. Now that I listen to it again, that doesn't sound like shared. We share the kitchen. Okay, so they have a shared kitchen.
The kitchen, that's it.
Don't put this at the end of your answers. Don't say so, that's it. If you stop talking, the examiner knows you finished, and they'll ask the next question. Sample 7.
I live in an apartment now.
Again, it's an apartment. An apartment.
Because I come from China, but not Taiwan.
Not Taiwan.
I came to...
I live in an apartment. I'm not sure this is a reason. I mean, many people in Taiwan live in apartments. But, okay. I live in an apartment because I come from China.
Taiwan for the university.
I came to Taiwan for university, to study at university. I came to Taiwan to study at university. To study at university. Here's sample 8.
Well, actually, I live in a 3-floor villa with my parents.
This is pretty good. Notice here she doesn't say 3 floors. 3 floor. This 3 floor acts as an adjective, so there's no S here. Here's the adjective, here's the noun.
And it's a big house, really more spacious.
But if you say with is a preposition, so where's the noun? There's no noun. Spacious is an adjective. So it has to be with a lot of space. It's a big house with a lot of space. Or why not just say it's a spacious house? Move the adjective to the noun. It's a spacious house.
A big house, really more spacious, and we moved there approximately 2 years
ago. 2 years ago.
I think it's a little bit inconvenient things.
Inconvenient since. Oh, she did say inconvenient. Never mind.
Yeah, because it's new developed.
Developed is a participle. New is an adjective. So because it's newly developed. Newly. You can't put an adjective if this is not a noun.
And the traffic system's undeveloped now, so we must.
And remember, if you use a modal, there's no to. So we must
go out to drive our private car.
Must go out to drive our private car. No, that's not the way you say this. So the traffic system, maybe she means transportation system, not traffic system. Traffic system has to do with how the cars drive on the road. Transportation system is like buses and trains and things like that. The transportation system is underdeveloped. Maybe not maybe undeveloped. Okay, maybe there's nothing there. So we have to rely on our own car to get around. Or we have to drive ourselves around. We have to drive ourselves around, or we have to rely on our car to get around. Here's sample 9.
I live in a house now because my home is in the village. So most of people live in their home.
Okay, 2 things. This guy has a strong accent, and I think he's confusing home and house. I mean, any place you live in can be a home. I live in a house now because my home is in a village. So most people, it's not all, most people. Most people in the village live in houses. Most people in the village live in houses. Not a home. A home can be anything. An apartment is a home. A house is a home. Some people live in hotels and that's their home. Sample 10.
Where live? I live in Quanzhou City.
No, that's not the question. The question is not where do you live. It's do you live in a house or an apartment?
I live in Quanzhou City, Fujian province, in China.
Also, China doesn't take the, it's just in China.
I live in...
Do you live in a house?
Oh, we should capitalize that. Okay, so she didn't answer the question. That's why this happened.
Do you live in a house or in an apartment?
I live in an apartment.
If you misunderstand the question, it's not the end of the world. As long as it doesn't happen too much. Alright, that's the end of this short little video. Next we'll be looking at some other short videos.